Hello. Well, I've done it. I thought we're not going to read it in school, so we'll do the trilogy on here. So we've just finished in school The House at the Edge of Magic, and my word, did we enjoy it. But we know there's two more books that follow in the series. And so this one, which is the next one, called The Tower at the End of Time, also written by Amy Sparks, is the next one in the series. It's also 31 chapters long, which is hefty for year twos, but I love it, the fact you've got the stamina to listen to this. So please, at home, do what we do at school. Listen to me read, but get a piece of paper. In fact, no, actually, I think I had already organised. I've sent you home with paper, a booklet of 31 pages, a page for each chapter, and you can draw as I read. So you can illustrate everything you want to that you hear in the chapter, or you can write any words that you find wow, or any words that you don't know or you understand. You can just write them down, even phonetically, bring them into school, show me, say, Mrs. Fish, I didn't know this word in that chapter. What does it mean? We'll put it on our window. We'll put it with our wow words. So, are you ready? I am. So, The Tower at the End of Time, and it begins with a letter. See if you know who this letter is written by. It says, "Dear friends, there's something important I need to tell you. My days in the house at the edge of magic have been the best days of my life. But every journey must come to an end, even the most extraordinary ones. I know you'll take care of the most special thing I have in all of the world, and look after my music box too. It means so much to me. Please don't try to find me. You know I don't like saying goodbyes. So I'll just say thank you for everything." Who do you think the letter's from? Who has the magic box? Why was it their precious possession? Can you remember? And then our story begins. Chapter 1. It's about 8 pages long, so it's not too bad. Are you ready? If anyone had told 9 a week ago that she would be in a magical house with a hopscotching wizard, a feather-dusting obsessed troll, and a stab-first, ask-questions-later wooden spoon, 9 would have laughed in their face, and then she would have picked their pockets. Yet, here she was. 9 stood in the dark, plum-carpeted hallway of the house at the edge of magic, standing right beside Eric, the troll, as tall as a man and a half, and like a cross between a tree trunk and a walrus, and a blue and white coat of arms mounted beside the front. It showed 2 sticks crossed over a large road, which had a chain-like tongue poking out of its mouth. She'd just pulled the tongue out, released it, and... Zabam! 9 had felt a shockwave rock through her body, but it hadn't even shook the smile off her face. What was enough to shake the smile from her face was the sickening lurch which came next. 9 leaned against the front door. Her brain was surely being sucked out of the top of her skull. Everything hurtled in one direction. She didn't understand, but it could possibly be up. "Lady Fine," said Eric in a wobbly voice as he clung to the end of the banister. For a moment 9 thought she saw stars in front of her eyes, and then they faded away. There was a strange but relieving sensation of lightness, and then 9 caught her breath. "Lady's always fine," she said determinedly, because for the first time in her life she should actually feel absolutely fine. Gone was her old life as a thief for pockets, the heartless, whiskery old gangmaster. Gone was the dingy, rat-infested warehouse cellar where she lived with the other thieflings, and this new life in this strange and magical house had just begun. Except now the house was flying, and houses really weren't supposed to fly. In fact, the more she thought about it, the more ridiculous it was. She ignored the rising tightness in her chest. She wrapped her arms around the precious satchel that was slung across her body. This was what she wanted, wasn't it? This was freedom. This was escape. I mean, this was a flying house. This was, she really, really hoped this was not a mistake. House free, said Eric. Oh-ho! Cried Flabbergast the wizard, rubbing his palms together in delight as he skipped up the hallway towards 9. Behind him skittered a wooden spoon with spindly arms and legs and a face almost entirely made of 2 bushy gingery eyebrows and a large moustache. 3 years, the wizard continued. 3 years I've waited for this moment. We've visited your world many a times, even picked up mortal guests to travel with us, but never have we been stuck there for years before. Freedom! Freedom from the curse! Freedom from your world! Freedom from your dung-ridden streets! Hey! 9 frowned. Flabbergast linked elbows with Eric, and the wizard's curly auburn hair bounced about as the two danced around in a circle. Dr. Spoon rolled his eyes. 9 looked at the grinning wizard in his indigo pyjamas and his fluffy purple slippers and sighed. Yes, you're welcome. Well, naturally, madam, I am most grateful for your part in the curse breaking, which absolutely wouldn't have happened without me. But, oh, to travel the realms of magic, to be free once more. Flabbergast sighed blissfully, and his strangely ancient eyes began to twinkle. 9 couldn't help smiling. Now, the Hopscotch Championship is coming up, madam. That will be our first stop. I've missed 3 years, and we had best get there early, or we'll never park this house. He wiggled his fingers in excitement. We should have tea to celebrate. He clapped his hands together and again grinned at 9. Eric lolloped contentedly down the long hallway towards the kitchen. Flabbergast followed, pausing to tilt to the picture of Sir Ignatius, the permanently late, of 1589 to 1641, one of the many portraits of his ancestors. It hung crooked for a second and then magically realigned itself. Flabbergast just chuckled and he skipped on into the kitchen. It's Spoon now. This is where I'm supposed to do a Scottish accent. And I'm still struggling. I'm still learning. So, bear with me. Fool of a wizard. See, it doesn't sound Scottish at all. Sorry. Muttered Spoon, shaking his head. Now our house is on the move. We can finally find Professor Douche. With the curse broken, perhaps he'll contact us. And that's a mix of all accents. He twitched his gingery moustache at 9, then sprinted up the plum-carpeted staircase to the landing. 9 had heard so much about Spoon's long-lost partner in alchemy. How Spoon had one half of the formula to change matter into gold, and Dish had the other half. She wondered if they'd ever be reunited, and who exactly they were trying to make the gold for. And if they did make lots of gold, surely they wouldn't need it all. No, I'm not a thief anymore. You'll find your room perfectly satisfactory, said Flabbergast's voice, dividing 9 from her thoughts. The room carefully chooses the guest, not the other way round. Make yourself at home. Yes, home, murmured 9. The word unfamiliar on her lips. It didn't feel like home. She climbed up the stairs to the main landing, which had dozens and dozens of doors of every size and every colour, some small as a mouse hole, some larger than a carriage archway. The ridiculously high walls were dotted with hundreds of other doors, all the way up to the distant, ornately painted ceiling. Some of the doors were reached by rickety wooden steps and landings that doubled back on themselves, and other doors were reached by taller ladders of the huge central spiral staircase that seemed to stretch up forever. And there were some doors that didn't even appear to be reachable at all. On the right side of the main landing, a narrow staircase led to a single small door, Spoon's room. On the door was painted a yellow circle with a smaller circle inside. There was a faint burning smell coming from within, and occasionally wisps of curling orange smoke which tickled the air and then vanished. 9 paused for a moment, then shrugged. When she had a wooden spoon trying to make gold, this almost counted as perfectly normal. There was a high-pitched creaking sound. 9 looked up sharply as the turquoise door at the top of the tall ladder opened itself just a fraction, just a little bit. The room chooses the guest, not the other way around. As she climbed up the ladder that led to the room, doubts pounded 9's mind. What if this room wasn't perfect for her? What if she wasn't perfect for the house? What if she was never meant to be here at all? What if this was all one massive mistake? Tea cupboard, warned a distant wizardly voice. 9 paused mid-climb. Tea cupboard? Then she understood. The tea cupboard remained cursed, and every time someone touched it, there would be a zap. 9 was a frog with 2 bushy tails, extra long arms, clinging to the ladder rung. She had 8 eyes, and 2 of which were now open. What a great picture. If you are drawing at this point, let me just repeat that description. So she's mid-climbing. Downstairs, Flabbergast has gone to have tea to celebrate his hopscotch contest that he's so excited about now attending after missing the last 3 or 4 years. So zap! 9 was now a frog with 2 bushy tails and extra long arms, clinging to the ladder rung. She had 8 eyes, only 2 of which were open. So 2 are wide open and 6 are all closed. The rest popping open, one at a time. So the rest are all popping open spontaneously. Until 9 could see 8 ladders in front of her now. Slowly she became unfrogged as the magic faded, and her 8 bulbous froggy eyes were replaced by her own. Definitely just 2 of them. I don't think I'll ever get used to magic, 9 muttered as she climbed up the ladder to face the turquoise door. She reached out to push it open, but before her fingers even reached to the wood, it began, ever so slowly, to creak open wide. In a tangle of excitement and nerves, 9 stepped inside. That's the end of chapter 1. So chapter 2, make a prediction. What do you think is going to be in this room? How is this going to be? So if the room picks 9, it must have elements of 9 in there. That must be what makes her comfortable if she's meant to be there, if it's not one big mistake. And I don't think it is. Do you? She's made friends with all of these. Think about 9. Think about what's special to 9. Think about what 9 wants from life. What does she miss from life? Remember, she's an orphan. So maybe you could draw a little section of your piece of paper, what you predict the room might look like, special things the room might have. And then hopefully we'll find out in chapter 2. Thanks for listening. Bye.